Hey guys, welcome in to Unpaved with Sean Salisbury. JB will be along in a second. My guy Triple E as well produces this show to perfection, or as close to perfection as us two clowns can get. But I can tell you some things on the dock. We are going to hit March Madness. The John Calipari's team choked it away last night. 16-point lead. Texas Tech right now is a 3 seed. They are the forgotten one. And I can tell you right now, they ain't bullshit. That's a good basketball team. We'll talk March Madness. Obviously, the Lakers and the Bulls were in an unbelievable game. And, oh, by the way, how do you score I digress. In an NBA game, you score 160-plus points in regulation. You give up that many points. We'll brush by that. But the Lakers-Bulls inning was fantastic. And the Lakers, speaking of a team that had a big lead and let that one get away, we also have Marvin Sapp. Can you imagine going to church? And I imagine some of you have. It's guilty enough when they start to guilt trip you and go and hit the link. And if you want to share, telling you what you're supposed to pay tithing wise, as if most people don't know. But locking doors, you ain't leaving until I get my 40 grand. Pastor Sapp or Reverend Sapp or Entertainer Sapp, we're going to have to drill you for that. And by the way, get a second shirt you can change, because apparently you were sweating a little too much all over the place, asking for all that money or locking them up and throw away the key. Yeah, sure. Okay. But we wonder why, and I'm a God-fearing man as well. We wonder why people question. You go into church and a guy is telling you got to pay. You go in there to worship, and now you're telling you got to pay and pass the trays around now, and you ain't leaving. We're going to get to that. And I know on my screen I'm frozen, so hopefully you guys are hearing me and seeing me regardless. And we will talk in Major League Baseball why you got to start fast. And I know it's 160 games a year. Oh, it's a long season, but some examples of what the collateral damage is in baseball when you start off fast or slow, both ways, the good and the bad. And then there's a broadcaster out there who you guys know I love and work with him, but there's certain parts of it where you just can't keep doing what he's doing. It's affecting, and every single day I turn on, you're apologizing to somebody else because apparently it looks like you're not paying attention to the job at hand. For $20 million, if you're going to go in, you're going to have to go in the back door collecting it if you're not careful. So it's looking bad and worse, and it's not good. All right, welcome in, JB. Welcome in, my man. It's good to have you with me as you do every day. And my screen is frozen. Will somebody please audibly communicate with me and tell me if you're hearing me on my
we hear you. We're good. You're good on hearing. Okay,
but what is my screen doing?
You're like this, frozen.
Okay, like I'm in a prayer mode?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's my dedication to
Marvin.
To Marv Sapp. Okay. To Marv Sapp. And I don't know why this is happening, but I'm fucking shocked. Technology gets in the way of doing something good. So I'm going to keep talking here for a second and tee you up. JB, I'll start here. And I may have to log off and log back in because, this is the stuff that pisses me off beyond to no end, and twice on Sunday. I want to start with the last night's Laker Bull game. Real phenomenal comeback by the Chicago Bulls, but what a emotion up, emotion down, emotion up again with the jump shot, the steal and the score, and then the Lakers knocking one down, and then to hit a buzzer beater, rolling on the run and knock it down was pretty impressive victory by the Bulls. And I understand that it's a game, but those types of games can have a lasting effect on you confidence-wise, although I don't think the Lakers are lacking a lot of confidence. Big win by the Bulls, though.
Yeah, man. LeBron got diddied. I mean, giddied. Giddy hit the shot.
You are so wrong, dog.
What happened?
I don't know. I thought I heard a G, but it might. But I think it was a D, but it might have been a G. Just curious.
These nuts.
Anyway, I heard a D.
Yeah, Giddy hit the shot.
It made me really giddy.
He got really giddy. But first of all, let me just break it down. LeBron James is worried about Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith's worried about LeBron James. It's clearly affecting both of their professions. And LeBron threw the ball right to a motherfucker last night to give him a fucking layup. Looked like Reggie Miller from the Malice in the Palace days when he hit the three-pointer to cut and then stole the ball, hit a three again. And we all know the legendary story how they scored 6 points in under 8 seconds. They were up 5, Sean.
Well, I know. And they went up big double digits in the fourth quarter.
Well, they were up 18, but they're up 5 with 4 seconds. How do you lose that game?
Well, lack of focus, stupidity, attention to detail. And also, you remember when Larry Bird stole that ball in the inbound? Bird steals the ball, right? You can go back to the further than Reggie Miller, right?
Yeah.
But there you see. And then right now you're thinking, we got it. But if you're the Chicago Bulls, what do you got to do? You got to settle back your ass in after making this comeback. And then bam. Well, what you don't do, you don't contest the layup. Then the Lakers go the other end and make their layup. And then the shot by the Bulls on the long range, that's how you give up 5 points in a minimal amount of time and then push it. And your team goes on and takes care of their victory with the 1.3 point shot. But you don't contest that one for the most part. And even that was even a little more contested in the layup. But on both ends, uncontested layups put you in that position. But you just can't have that happen. You can't be down. I mean, you have a game. So all you got to do is inbound it. Just inbound it. That's all you got to do.
Sean, let me ask you,
those are games that have talk about collateral damage. That have collateral damage. Those are unforced errors. Now, great effort. I don't need to coach effort, JB. I think you agree with me. I don't coach fucking effort ever, and I never will. But being in the right place at the right time and understanding how you apply that effort, that's my job. It's the player's job to give effort. Great job by the Bulls and a great finish. And obviously, you're not going to make that shot much, but the fact that he got a clean look at it gives you an opportunity, and he knocked it down.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. That game right there, 18-point loss. And then we saw Coach Calipari blow a 16-point, multiple times up, 14, 16, gave up, allowed an 18-2 run to close out the second half of that game. Let me ask you, player or coach problem?
When that happens?
Happened twice on the biggest scales last night.
Yeah, I'm talking when it happens to that. Where's the finger point, right?
Yeah, especially multiple times.
I got two messages from buddies of mine this morning, and both of them said, "Man, what a bummer for Texas Tech." This was early in the morning, right? And I said, "What do you mean?" And they said, "Yeah, bummer that Texas Tech got beat." I said, "Texas Tech didn't get beat. Texas Tech won that game," which. And we told you going in that here's what, JB, remember we said, and I've been preaching, this ain't no 10 seed. Arkansas had no 10 seed in the SEC. You know when they played like a 10 seed? Second half of that game. Yeah. And listen, for me, it's always, if it's an effort problem, then you got to get the guys out. If they're getting too complacent, an effort problem or a lack of focus problem on them, like you're shooting free throws and you can't knock down a free throw. That ain't a coach issue unless we haven't worked on it. But when it comes to execution, when to use a timeout, when to sit a guy down, when to sit a guy down, when to dial up a play, or when to make sure that guys that aren't – it's something like I talk about that the Izzos and the Kelvin Sampsons, hell, Pat Riley's in his day would have done, that if you're not doing it on both ends, regardless of how good you are on one end, you're going to come sit next to me. And I know Cal is his own guy. I think at times player empowerment, and Cal kind of – plays into that. He'll dress him down. Underrated defensive coach, but yeah. So when it comes to the timeout, the management, leadership of guys, management of people, what happens in a game like this, JB, is I'm convinced, and I hate to say it because it sounds so cliche, but I don't think it is. When they went in at halftime, I think they thought they had this game won. I think they felt like, hey, listen, we're Arkansas. We're better than a 10 seed. We know how to do this. We've done this many times this year where we have let it, and at this point in time, you don't know if you're going to give the lead up, where they've had a lead, given it up, had to fight their way back. Well, when it's single elimination, you don't get the next game that week playing against another conference opponent. Texas Tech's a 3 seed, and they're not bullshitting. That's a damn good 3 seed. And you know what? The only reason they don't get more credit is because we're spending time talking about Chris Beard's team, and rightfully so, at Ole Miss, who is the former coach at Texas Tech, and everywhere he goes, they win. And Texas Tech's getting lost over there. It felt to me like it was reversed last night, JB, in the second. So to answer your question, I think that part of it's the players, obviously, because they're the ones who have to execute and hit shots in the paint, get stops, defend shots, contest them. But it's also a struggle. I mean, within the structure of that, did you have them prepared? Did they go in the second half? It's a game of two halves, and they got their ass handed to them in the second half. And then you say, okay, timeout usage, when to sit a guy down, when not to. When you stop in-game momentum, all those things. It felt to me in the second half like Texas Tech was a 10 seed that realized they had to play their ass off to come back and win. And Arkansas was the 3 seed that thought this was too easy. And in truth, what should have happened is Arkansas as a 10 seed should have said, we're not a 10 seed, but we're going to play like a team that's hair's on fire. And Texas Tech at no point in time took them for granted. They were getting pushed around in the first half. Second half, they took care of their business. So when it gets out of hand like that, not be able to stop runs, I think a coach plays a bigger factor in it. It's the stuff, hell, how can a coach, if you miss a layup or miss a putback or let somebody get underneath you to the offensive glass, those are just execution issues. But I always go back to how did you practice and prepare for this very game? And what was the message through the week that we're Arkansas? Was it more about us or about them? Texas Tech wasn't about to let you walk out of that building without some respect. And I guarantee they earned it last night.
Yeah, I don't. Sean, let me ask you, have you ever taken a timeout home with you and then used it next year in the first game?
My goal in truth, JB, winning or losing, because at some point in that game, you needed a timeout to calm your offense down, defense down. I'm never leaving them on the board.
Me either.
Even if I just need a break because we're tired as a bat, I'm emptying the bucket. Now you're up 2 touchdowns and you got a timeout on the board and you got the ball and there's a minute and a half to go. Of course I'm not using it. There's the outliers. I'm not going to embarrass the other team. But I can damn well tell you, any situation where it's close, those are not going home with me because guess what? They're not cumulative. You don't get to take them with you. You don't get to pay them forward. When they're done, they're done. And I'd rather regret going out using one than I would rather regret going out not using one.
That's why
the mismanagement, that's a problem in all sports. It really is.
It is. That's why it's a coaching error to me, not the players. Players only know what they know and don't know what they don't know. And I'm sick and tired of the player empowerment, just like you are. And in my show this morning, all these guys, it's a players issue. The Kyle can't coach and play. So let me get this straight. The hypocritical comments blow me away. So at one point, we're going to pay these players. They're grown men, and they can transfer anytime they want. But then when it comes to this scenario, now it's the player's problem again and not the coach. I'm confused, Sean. I thought we paid them to get results. Now it's also now not the coach. When we had a guy at Maryland say, I'm going to go to Villanova before they start their Sweet 16 game. This is the Wild Wild West times 10. It is absolutely no good for anyone involved, coach or player or fans. And I think this is an absolute mockery right now on what college
sports. We're going to give coaches credit for making calling a timeout or stopping a run when they do win. Don't they deserve the same lack of credit or criticism when they don't do it and get beat?
Here's my whole take. Like this, first of all, you allow them to come back without taking a timeout. Then
got to stop the run somehow, buddy. You got to stop the run.
They were up 3, Sean. Every team this tournament so far, BYU we saw do it. Arizona, I really literally watched them do it versus Oregon. Up 3, under 15 seconds. What did we do? We're gonna foul you, put you at the line, foul you, put you at the line. We'll milk you out, milk the clock out until we win. Last night, they're up 3 with 11 seconds left and allowed them to shoot a 3 continuously, and they finally made one, and we didn't foul anybody, and they make a 3 with 10 seconds left to tie that game to go to overtime. Now, in overtime, we still have a timeout in our back pocket, and after the shot, they inbound it, and a kid runs straight over to the sideline with the ball, over-dribbling, and we don't call a timeout, and he over-dribbles, and it's the worst shot you can end the game with, and it hits the front of the rim, and they lose. And it's absolutely a coaching blunder.
The question is, what did you talk about before, certain final or certain possessions going back out there and make it point clear? Like it happened was it Cal's team the game before?
Well, the free throw debacle?
No. I can't remember what coach it was.
That was Cal too during the regular to the SEC.
I'm talking about it was Cal that wasn't running the baseline 2 times in a row. The inbounds guy had to waste timeouts. It's like, and he didn't move. It's like, motherfucker, you can run the baseline. Yeah. And then they finally had to switch and move the baseline. And when that stuff happens like that, and counting what you said last night, and as much as I like Cal, he's not above criticism because I almost feel like sometimes he's so, flippant like when he gets flipping like, oh, hey, the guy's got to play. We've been through this before. I love the kids, and he goes through it. It's when that stuff happens, I feel like, was there a few stones unturned going into this game, and you can't let it happen.
I got to blame the coach, Sean. That's all
and I'm not. Listen, coaches we love coaches when they make the right move, get the right guy to shoot the free throw.
And Reddick too.
What's that?
Reddick too. Just to the full point before you move on, Reddick is a coaching error. And
they were in the same church pew last night, buddy. Same
one. Because listen, you just got blown out by the Chicago Bulls by 30 7 days ago, and you get a chance to repeat the same thing, and you're up 18 in that game and lose. That's a coaching problem.
Oh, there is no question. Yeah. Hell, you got to do something. Whether it's you, and I know the prevent, we're going to slow it down. Not to. You still got to do stuff and manage your timeouts and lead these kids to give them whatever it is. There is that 2 or 3 little things that end up being crushers.
Until you and I come out as the coach and say, you know what, these fuckers sabotaged me. LeBron didn't want to play D. He sabotaged me. My kid didn't want to call a timeout. I called it, and the kid said, fuck you. Until I hear that from the coach, then it's on the coach.
There's no doubt. And if you told the kid to call timeout 47 times, the kid didn't call timeout, then that kid's going to know he didn't call timeout. I assure you.
Guess what? You're in the portal too.
That's damn right. That's the way I go. Now, this Maryland thing, JB.
Oh man.
Okay, we've had the conversation about coaches leaving.
What are we doing?
So they're getting ready to play win, JB.
Last night.
That's exactly right. And what's he say?
Hey, guys. Here's what it is, Coach. I reenacted for you. I had Lon Kruger on today, the great legendary Oklahoma, Florida, K-State champ coach, UNLV. I said, Coach, have you ever seen anything like it? And so here's the thing. Let's reenact it, Sean. You're the player. I'm the coach. I walk in and say, Sean, sit down. Guys, sit down. It's been great coaching you guys. You guys are fucking unbelievable. I love you guys to death. But I have taken the Villanova job. Let's go get ready to go beat Florida. What?
Dude.
Are you shitting me?
And when does it say exactly? I mean, I read, but at what point in the day did he tell his kids this?
I heard it was because I heard he got booed as the walk-in, so it leaked.
So it leaked out, but I'm saying it leaked out with him. I mean, it was kind of rhetorical, like within an hour or two of the game, right?
And then forced him probably to address the players because I bet you he wasn't going to.
They had to find out probably through rumors or a buddy of theirs texting. Let me tell you how chicken shit this is. Just like we got on the player from Vanderbilt after a game, leaving and 13 minutes later, and we ripped his ass to shreds. That he had 1 foot out the door, like McNeese State, going into the game.
Yep.
Well, how is this coach any different? And I guarantee they're going to preach the focus on the kids. So you're telling me, and I said this last week, man, anytime you announce this stuff and you're going into a game that you're still playing, it has to, and I don't give a shit if the entire Maryland team was going to Villanova, which they're not. But if the whole team says we're leaving after, guess what? It's still in effect on the current game because your head is elsewhere. You're thinking, it's like anything. Oh, I won Powerball for $200 million. But you know what? There's a 250 million Mega Millions. I won that too. So you feel like you can't lose. And I don't care what anybody says. When you go into it like that, you're done. You've already checked out on your team. You've already checked out on your team as a coach. And by telling that, what did you think was going to happen? They were going to respond in kind and play. And maybe once in a while they do. But like, you know what? Let's go play for our coach. My philosophy would be, how chicken shit is this? You're announcing this job and we're trying to go out. He tried to feed off the emotion of this stuff and got caught in the middle of it and got their ass handed to him by the best team, a 1 seed in college basketball, correct? Isn't that the way you see it? How else is this okay? And in your bed, you hear Tom Izzo say, I'm not dealing with any transfer portal here during this. I'm focused on this team. And if it hurts me a year from now, then so be it. And then we got a guy who's at Maryland's not exactly a hack basketball program and going to Villanova and the J, right, all that. But you're telling me that this couldn't wait either by the school, the whoever the media guy is that you give your, hey man, keep this private and they want to leak it or whatever it is. This couldn't wait. So what tells me he was interviewing and focused on Villanova as a head coach, and he did a great job. but focused on the next job while he's on this one. And I'm the same way. If you've coached me and you announce you're taking a job in December in football and you think you're coaching my team in the playoffs, fuck that. You're not. Because you've already checked out on me and I'm not going to get the best of you. And some will say, well, yeah, I'm going to leave it here. You're recruiting. You got one phone in your ear here while you're recruiting and trying to put a game plan in the other. You can't be a doctor and lawyer at the same time. If you're going to rip the kids for leaving and having one foot out the door, to announce this before you're playing in a game, it couldn't have waited until you stood at the pulpit or at the dais after the game. That couldn't have waited. Oh, I know it leaks out with social media, but okay, how's it leak out? If it's just you and Villanova, who's talking? Who's talking? Yeah, so you couldn't tell Villanova, yes, Villanova, listen, I'm not, give me till after the game. If you're Villanova, don't you think to yourself, that's my target. I'm going to wait till the game's over. It's not going anywhere. He can't coach us yet. Nobody's going to steal him between now and the time the buzzer sounds. And if you're the coach, I think it's so chicken shit to do this to your team, to the school, to the fans. I'd have booed his ass too. I understand you want a job for more money. And then these same guys are going to say, the transfer portal, man, it killed it. It's so hard to deal with. But I'm going to bail out on you and let you know I'm bailing out on you before we even line up to play a number one seed and take it on the chin. You tell me that's okay.
I got a problem with the whole issue. The Non-Carrying Assholes of America, which is obviously the acronym for NCAA. Here's the issue I have. Why? Why are you allowing players to be poached by having the portal open during this fucking time? And why are you allowing coaches to be poached while they're in the tournament with their respective team? How the universities have not contacted the NCAA and said, listen, man, I get my coach may leave for a bigger school, but goddamn, can we fucking have this time, this moment in our school history to be in the Sweet 16 with the guy we hired and paid? Like, I don't understand it, man. There is no good out of this for anybody.
No, there isn't. The NCAA, those adults ruin everything. How did they allow this? It's almost like they also sit back and they just going to keep letting it happen. Don't do shit about it when you could put a simple stop to it. If you recruit the portal, if you try to recruit in the portal before we open it up during this tournament time, I'm docking you 3 scholarships. And the kid that's trying to get in, you're not going to be eligible to play. I don't know what the harsh part of it is. You got to stop it during these times. I'm going to tell you another thing, and this may sound a little unreasonable and harsh, but you know what? I think we're at a point where unreasonable and harsh needs to go, and because the transfer portal is unreasonable, it's ridiculous. So why not this? I'm waiting for a school to find out, like Maryland did, or McNeese State. And when you find out a day before the game or a few minutes before the game and they announce it, that you just couldn't let our kids enjoy it. I don't care who's transferring with you or not as a coach. I'm not so sure, JB, that I would not fire the head coach and let the assistant coach the Sweet 16 game. I know how that goes, but when are we going to stop this? I mean, what was the coach had nothing to lose now? Oh, I've got the job with Villanova. What, was he afraid that if they would have lost and he didn't have the job with Villanova, that Villanova was going to retract the contract offer and go? Well, then you wouldn't want to go play for that university anyway because they're not loyal to you in the first place because you lost one game. You cannot tell me, now Florida's better than Maryland, but you cannot look me in the face and tell me that had no ill effect on that school, the fans, the head coach, and the basketball team. It's such a chicken shit. And I don't ever want to hear another guy that does this tell me he's all in at his dream job. I don't want to hear it. I just don't. You know what? Villanova could have waited until the end of the game. Matter of fact, Villanova should have demanded, do not announce this. This is your time with Maryland. You go do your thing. And then Maryland should have told the coach, you're leaving? Fine. Even if I'm going to let him coach. This is not to be – matter of fact, don't put your name on that contract until this game's over. So you don't have the job. You can tell me you're going, but if you sign it, you're not coaching this game.
Sean, this is why I kind of defend coaches more than players, because the players, first of all, haven't busted a grape in a fruit fight. They haven't paid for a fucking college tuition for a kid yet. They don't even know how to change the oil in their car or change the brakes. And yet they think that we owe them all this money.
Well, there's a sense of entitlement with all of them now, JB.
All of them, yeah.
Out of hand.
And I defend the coach more because he's earned the right. He's 50, he's 40, he's been in the game 20, 30 years. He's put kids through college. He's helped a lot of kids. And this is like, there's no difference in the Walmart manager taking a $50,000 pay hike to go to be the Target manager. Okay, there's no difference. So I think the grown folks in the room have deserved the right. The kids have yet to do it, and I don't
argue that at all.
Now, but and here's the final point: I defend the coach because we're the ones that can actually get fired. And we're the ones that actually have to re-up and move everybody. And we're the ones that actually have a contract that we may have to pay money back to when we are leaving that job for another job. So we have some sort of repercussion. The players have zero. You can enter the portal. You can get a bag of money here. You can go there and get another bag of money. There's no fucking repercussion. And when we stop mentioning, please stop the student athlete thing, because I don't want to hear that the portal's open because this is the time to get in for the semester. Shut the fuck up. NCAA, you got to stop lying to us and pissing on us and telling us rain, because bottom line is you can give a shit less about these kids' to education. And coach, Sean, Memphis just fired their head coach in the NBA, and they're 44 and fucking 29, and they just fired him as a reason why I always am going to be on the coaching side of this thing. But come on, man.
But there are times like the Maryland situation, which is bullshit.
It's
I'm
all
with
bullshit.
you. When somebody says, well, the 18-year-old should have the same privilege as the 40-year-old. No, he shouldn't.
No,
he shouldn't. He's
a
snotty nose. I'm not saying all of them, but you get the point that he's coming off a campus, whether his parents have money or don't have money, irrelevant to me. But he's walking off a campus, and all of a sudden the entitlement kicks in. When that coach we're talking about, no matter what, has been at 18 different programs in small places and working and sleep and rooming with an assistant coach because they don't have any money. And probably has 3 kids or 2. Yeah, save it. You don't deserve the same thing because there's a pecking order in life, and the sooner you recognize it, the better off you'll be. Hence why Stephen A. Smith makes $20 million and somebody else makes 2 or less. There is a pecking order. And if you don't, this isn't socialism, liberal bullshit, okay? We don't do that in life, okay? The guys that do their job better usually get paid more. Sometimes the guy who does his job worse gets paid more because, well, maybe they're banging the boss. Maybe they just got the insight. Maybe their dad was the CFO or the CEO, whatever it is. I don't care. The bottom line is there's a pecking order. And families that don't tell their kids that or don't teach them that are fucking over there. The kid has no shot. Secondly, for those that think that you shouldn't have a pecking order, then why do you have a chairman of the board, a CEO, and why do you invest in that company? He's making decisions, and then they've got shareholders. It's the same thing here. The coach has been through more than you. If I've been in the league more and on a first class, it used to be when I was playing in the league. If you're a veteran on the team, you got to ride first class. Certain veterans, let's say there was 12 first class seats. The coaches, and sometimes the coaches had to go in the back and the players. So if you had 10 years or whatever it was, you got the big seats. Well, what about the rookie of the year MVP who's in the league 3 years? And it's pecking order, buddy. Doesn't matter who the starter is. Guy's been here and has sustained success in a league. You're going to sit your ass back in the small seats. And when your time comes and you've proven it, you come up here and sit in the big seats. That's called life. That's not fair to the other guy. It's like in school. That's a 4.0 student. I'm letting him leave 10 minutes early. You're a 1.9 student, but you're smart, but you don't come to class on time and you fall asleep in class. Fuck you. There is privilege of doing things better. Sorry, it's the way it works. It's the same thing here. The coaches have been doing it longer. Now, we finally caught up where the players can get paid money for all the revenue they're bringing in. We're just doing it wrong. We're just doing it wrong. And I think it's put now on the bad part of it. What a coach did last night, they pee in your face and tell you it's raining. They don't want to deal with the portal while their team's playing, but they'll sure as shit come out here and say, I'm taking another job when this game's over and announce it before the game. The collateral damage took its place and they got beat, and they may have got beat anyway, but it sure didn't help. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Now, which leads me to this Stephen A. Smith stuff and some good games. We got some more good matchups tonight. Houston plays a late game. We obviously know last night Alabama's athletic and Duke's damn good. And now we get to see Auburn. I'm telling you, I've been saying at the beginning of the tournament, the Michigan State Ole Miss game is going to be Tom Izzo knows what he's in for with Chris Beard's teams who can coach. And in the Michigan Auburn game, do not sleep on the Michigan Wolverines, who are playing really good basketball. And while Auburn's the 1 seed in the tournament, I promise you Bruce Pearl understands just the turnaround from Michigan to last year to this year has been phenomenal. Michigan's playing great basketball. Keep an eye on that. All right, I got to get to the Stephen A. Smith stuff. How many? And I don't know why I have to qualify this or.
By the way, doesn't he make more money than Molly?
Makes more money than any of them. $20 million a year.
Hey, doesn't the manager at Walmart make more than the bagger?
Yeah, and you know why? Because the manager's been doing it longer and actually knows how to manage. The bagger knows how to bag. Sometimes they don't. Okay?
Oh, it's called fucking hierarchy, right?
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so with this, I'll preface it one more time for anybody who hasn't listened or seen. I've known Stephen A. a long time, and I like him. I do. I hold him. I think he works his ass off. I didn't think he works his ass off and always smartly, but he works his ass off. Now, remember, this is also going back, and we've all made mistakes, but at one point in time, a handful of years ago, he had Hunter Henry's matchup against DJ. Do you remember DJ, the linebacker, Johnson for Kansas City? It was a Chargers-Chiefs, I believe was a matchup. And he had DJ Johnson. His key matchup in the game was Hunter Henry and Johnson. Well, unfortunately, I hate to tell you, Hunter Henry's knee was blown out a couple months before, and he was not in uniform. And Johnson had retired. But that was the key matchup in the game. And I don't like it because I think Stephen A. Smith, he moves the needle. Advertisers obviously like him, or he wouldn't get paid $20 million a year. That's just the way it works in television.
He's an entertainer.
He's an entertainer. He moves the needle. But unfortunately, having to apologize, now you become, what's that group who sang and had to do
Milli Vanilli.
Yeah, Milli Vanilli. This is a Milli Vanilli moment where you
your
keep
favorite group
stuff out there, but the shit ain't right. And then you got to go back and eventually you just say, okay, I can't voice over anymore. So if you're held to a higher standard at $20 million a year.
Your favorite group.
Worked his ass off. And I get it. I love his story and the rest of it. One is he ain't beating. You're not throwing hands. So we'll stop there. I love Stephen. I will continue to love him. But now my job, we lose credibility if you're not sitting there saying, well, wait a minute. You didn't do due diligence with all the crack research team you have, or you just hitting a button that says, did LeBron attend Kobe's memorial? That one. And he said he didn't. Then he had to apologize. And then he says Nolan Richardson's dead, the Arkansas coach. And then he was reminded that he is. And he got to apologize for that. So the point is here, and I'm going to tell you the collateral damage of the LeBron Stephen A. Smith shit. What has happened now, it's, you know, that guy, JB, that when we're playing, we're game planning against, and I'm the quarterback and you're my coach, and you say, or I'm a tight end, and you say, that guy's got rabbit ears. You can antagonize him, get him to jump off sides. Or you get a guy who's a tight end and a linebacker, right? And the linebacker can get the tight end thinking, oh my gosh. And through the whole week of gamesmanship, you go into a game and the dude is so focused on getting even with you that he forgets that he actually has a job to do. And that's like run the route, block the outside linebacker, hook him so you can get to the edge, get up to the second level. It's an option route. So against man, you run. Against zone, you sit, all those things. And you lose your focus because you're so caught up in the prick that you're playing against. And that was his game plan the whole time. Well, here we are now, back-to-back days of your highest-priced superstar who works his ass off but lost some focus. What are you doing here? When do you eventually say, I beg you to let this shit go? It's a no-win thing. Two grown men. I hate to say this about it. Stephen A. Smith's had a great career. And it's only getting better at $20 million a year. And you get to call the shots. Somebody you don't want, they'll get rid of him. He's in that position. God bless him. But the guy that you're doing this with has had a far more successful career than you have, even if it's relatively. He just has.
He's a billionaire.
He just has.
Yeah.
So, and he's got rabbit ears too. The problem is he got two big rabbit eared guys that can't let it go. But Stephen A.'s digging a deeper hole because LeBron didn't say, I'm going to throw hands, because people said, dude, you're going to fight him. Stop it. Right. And then the other side of it, LeBron hadn't apologized for going to Kobe's memorial because LeBron actually went to Kobe's memorial. So when do you start to question credibility if this shit starts happening?
Sean, let me ask you
a year.
Let me ask you something. When you worked at that network, and you and Merrill Hodge and
you mean at the best times they've ever had there? Yeah, I know.
It was real analytics, and you all actually knew every topic. You did not need a teleprompter other than some sort of corporate message that you had to probably spew out.
Real quick, JB, let me interrupt that real quick, and I will validate what you're just saying. Aside from when I was doing stuff for the Sklar brothers on their comedian ESPN show, who I loved, the Sklar brothers, we had a blast. About once a month, I'd go into the side studio, and they needed it verbatim to plug into their show, right? So I do that. Or if you're reading a disclaimer or going to break on something like the hosts got to do, where they read teleprompter and they say, oh, coming up next, and they're teasing, right? And some don't use it. At no time in 12 years on television, and I'm not sure I hope nobody's using a teleprompter as an analyst, because if I've studied it, why the hell do I need a prompter to tell me what the fuck I'm saying? Okay. It's 32 teams, every position, no one personnel. And if you need a question, you got a great research. Hey, Russell Baxter, and Rusty was there. Russ, how many times has the Super Bowl been decided by a touchdown or less on the last drive during commercial? Sean, it's boom, boom, boom. You write it on your notes. You're good to go. And the research team there is like, it's like AI, and they're humans. They're that fast and that friggin' good. The production team, there is no excuse. They got an answer to everything, and they're phenomenal. Just as the camera people are. The production teams are what make it go. The guys on camera, they just made us look pretty, and you get to say it. But you try to validate them with their hard work. You should never, as an analyst, if you're looking into a teleprompter, you are simple horseshit. That means you don't know what you're doing, and you haven't studied your craft. And I hope nobody's doing it, but you're right. In 12 years, I never stared once into, unless it was something for somebody else that needed to be said on tape, not live, have I ever had a teleprompter turned on to be an analyst on TV. Shameful. And yes, while I respect a lot of people there, the best of times on SportsCenter, NFL Live, and at that network was during those times. Period.
No doubt. Well, you got the Mina Kimes of the world and all these DEI hires. I'm going to be honest. That's why they 1000% read everything.
Michael Irvin's Energy, Dan Patrick Sports, Stuart Scott, Kenny Mayne, Scott Van Pelt. Yes,
you knew it.
Mark
you knew
Schlereth
it.
and
Like,
Mike
you knew it. Like fucking, you know it. Like Mina Kimes don't fucking know it. Like, stop telling me that these people aren't reading a teleprompter when they've been caught literally on social media reading a teleprompter. This is what this has become, and you can't tell me in the Hunter Henry.
Not doing it. And like I said, I love at 12, and I've been there since 2008, and I loved my time there. I got nothing bad to say about it at all. I think the way it ended was a bit horseshit, right? But I don't need to go through that. I don't care. Trust me, I hit my rock bottom because of it. Let it go. But in this day and age, they just like give you a pat on the rear and say, hey, man, don't take a picture, right? Whatever, right? Stupid stuff. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Best of times. There's good people there. Great people there, and I loved my time there. I couldn't do the way they make you do an analysis now with all the work. I just couldn't do it, and nor would I. But it had nothing to do with the network. It's their approach to how you go in and out. And the people behind the scenes there are the very best. I'm just telling you, the production team, those young, talented kids and veterans that have been there 30 years, work their ass off and deserve far more pay than whatever they're paying them. But I will tell you this. When do you lose credibility? When you're apologizing every day because you're not doing the homework that's necessary. But you know what? I guess entertainers miss a note on a national anthem or singing at a concert, but I can't have you look into a camera and apologize and put it on Twitter, because those are the controllable things. Mispronounce a name that's a new guy, that's a Tongan name. I get it. And then you make a joke of it. Hey, I'm just going to call him by his first name, right? But you can't. He's not dead. He is dead. He wasn't and both of them have surrounded sensitive stuff where passed away memorial, a guy's not dead, and a guy is. When is the credibility in play?
And you make it 20 mil. I mean, that's the bottom line.
And yet the truth is, JB, even if he was making 20,000, when that camera goes on, your job is to inform, be transparent, get after it. And I know these debate shows have created a lot of stuff that people are saying that they don't believe, because sometimes they say stuff that if they do believe it, then I got to question if they have any idea what they're talking about. But there's some really good ones, and then there's some really bad ones, and there's a bunch in between. But we tell players, what happens if a guy drops a ball that hits him in the hand? What do you think he's going to say on the broadcast? Oh, you can't drop that. It sucked. You got to make a layup. he has missed layups for about 4 straight days, unfortunately for him.
And then
I love the
LeBron
guy,
getting
I
tough
do,
layups.
but
And then
you-
and LeBron,
you know, you're telling us to hold you in high regard. You want to run for president of the United States possibly, and you want to do. Listen, you can't be apologizing every single other day, because now you're making rookie mistakes, so the rookie can replace you if you're not careful.
and the other guy who actually has to make layups is allowing layups in real life. So he let it happen last night with the Chicago Bulls. Like,
there you go.
Both professions are being affected.
There's no doubt. And you know what that is? The gamesmanship or the beef back and forth has affected you from doing your job properly.
Hey, Sean, I know
me,
you got
there's a lot of things. We all screw up, but I'm telling you what, I ain't making I'm never making a mistake twice in a row and 2 days in a row that requires an apology on stuff like that. Matter of fact, after the first one, we'd be mortified.
Shut the fuck up.
Just don't talk. Right.
Yeah. Hey,
right,
Sean, before you do an ad read, I know you got breaking news here you might want to address and let everybody know, because there's a reason why Deion Sanders probably didn't become a Cowboy. Colorado just paid him. I don't know if Triple E has it here. Look at this.
Well, listen.
5-year, $54 million, making him one of the highest paid football coaches in America.
What's that? A little over 10 a year, 10 and a half a year.
11, and then it goes all the way up to 12.
Did you say 5 for what?
54.
Oh, okay. Not bad. It's good gig if you can get it. And good on him. He may not do it conventional by any stretch of the imagination, but he does it his way, and he makes sure, his way's working for him at Colorado, and I put major respect on Deion and his energy and his ability to still get those kids in class. Like I said, the fact that he has swagger bothers people. He's the one coach in college. I'm sure there's more of them, but Deion's a unique guy, and we'll get back to we'll just real quick on this, is that there's very few coaches that can relate to a 17 or 18-year-old kid that walks on campus and they know him, is what I'm saying. The 17 or 18-year-old knows Deion Sanders played. He knows he's got swagger. He knows he's a broadcaster. The 18-year-old doesn't know who Joe Montana is. I'm telling you, they just don't, for most part, right? Their parents do, but they don't. So the 18-year-old kid that he's recruiting knows everything about him. I'm just telling you right now, the 18-year-old recruit that maybe Tom Izzo's going for, even though Izzo's a legend, there's somebody in the family, Tom, he coaches for me. I'm just talking about the age gap, right? So Deion's impact, there's a 12-year-old out there right now who's playing Little League Baseball that knows exactly who Deion Sanders is. And then there's the 80-year-old that knows exactly who Deion Sanders is. And in a whole bunch of years, he can cover the way he recruits and the way he does it. He's got old school rules and stuff in him with the ability to go in and talk to the mom and the dad. And then, even though he doesn't do home visits, talk to the kid, put some pressure on the kid, tell him how we're going to do things here. If you don't like it, transfer, yet put his arm around him. He is unique in the fact that there's a lot of coaches that kids get recruited by. It's like, I had no idea about their background. John Madden, for instance. Most people don't know that John Madden is a Hall of Fame. I'm talking about in that 18 to 24 range. If their parents haven't said it. John Madden's known more for his video game than he is as a coach or a broadcaster, and will never have it anywhere. Great coach, fastest to 100 wins, and his broadcast career will never be emulated, ever. People may have tried, but they're not even close. And now these kids know him as Madden. No, what did he coach? Yet the video game. So Deion has a way of bridging the entire 60-year gap. And he does it unconventional and different, but you got to respect the way he's doing it. And of course, when he flirted with the Cowboys, just like when Sark flirted with the NFL this year, just like it happens all the time, why do you think they do it? Why would you leave if you're Sark doing this? I understand that maybe there's a bigger program for Deion, but I like the fact that Deion said, I'm sticking this one out and I'm going to keep doing this. Well, of course, maybe you'll flirt with it, but you know what the end game is. We'll give you a couple extra million to stay. And we'll give you a little more of this, and we'll add some. We'll extend your coaches another year and put more money on them. We'll give you more money for you to work to pay them more, so they don't have turnover, so they stay to you. There's a cumulative effect. I could have bet you, and we talked about it a long time ago, JB, $1 million on the spot that Sark and both Deion were going to get pay raise, and I don't begrudge them one bit. They played the system, knew how they were playing it, and got paid. No issue there for me. I'm all for it. Here's where my issue does go. Well, first, let me do this, JB. I'm going to tell you guys, let's focus on my Spindletap Brewery today. This hat is fire, though, isn't it? And I know some people are saying, man, is that Love You Blue? Yeah, it's Love You Blue Oilers colors, but that's Spindle Tap. That's the logo and the design for it. Spindle Tap Brewery, spindletap.com. I'm going to focus on three things, mocktails today. Now, I actually made a mistake, and I don't know, I just kind of assumed, even though I looked at the can, I like read through it, this isn't CBD. This is the Delta 9 THC. That's what's in these. Now, we'll start out with the 12-ouncer and zero sugar. So you're a lawyer, and you're a person who's working all day, and you don't want that, oh, shit. Come down. I've had about 4 buddies of mine try it now, and they said, dude, when do I get cases of this? I said, when you pay. Okay, they're already got themselves turned on because you're not bogged down. You want to sleep at night. I've had 12 surgeries. I drink one of these, and guess what? I start to lay it down when the games are over, and man, do I sleep like a charm without using all those doggone drugs that ruin you, Percocets and everything else, and no sugar. So this is a 12-ounce El Rancho Grande, zero sugar, and this has 5 milligrams of Delta 9 THC, and it is epic. Then you want to go to El Jefe, the big dude. It's El Rancho Prickly Pear. This is the tall boy. Now, 20 milligrams of Delta 9 THC. You're sleeping good. You're relaxing in front of the game. And you don't have to worry about any smoke or anything else. I'm telling you right now, Spindle Tap Brewery has these, and you want this in you want them on that shelf. You need them on that shelf, all right? At your party or at home. And I'll just throw in now, we'll get it, but this is another mocktail. 10 milligrams of hemp-derived Delta 9 THC. It's called the Zombie Zen, all right? Now, we'll get to Spindle Tap and all the beer on Monday and all that and delivery. You can call them up. It's phone number, Triple-E. I got it up there, 713-325-1477. 713-325-1477. I don't even know if he wants me to say his name, but the man who runs the show, Brody Chapman, you ask for him, and you'll work it out, and they'll get that shipment out anywhere in the country, delivering it right to your friggin' doorstep, wherever you want it. So while the brewery's here, the action's everywhere, the bandwidth. So you're going to want the El Rancho Grande. You want it, and like I said, these are THC. This is phenomenal, the Delta 9. So there you go. It's not CBD. Delta 9, which is even more effective. And they taste great. Prickly pear. You got, I mean, it's all here. And you got the big zero sugar. So give them a call or go to spindletap.com. And if you're in town, pop into the best brewery we have here in Texas. And if you come to town, pop in. You Final Four folks, get your ass to Spindle Tap Brewery when you come here. Even if you got to stop in Houston before you go to San Antonio and you're getting a limo, load it up at Spindle Tap Brewery. Get a hold of them, spindletap.com. Again, the number is 713-325-1477. Who doesn't want 20 milligrams of Delta 9 THC at your house by your bedside when you're watching some movie that you've seen 47 times and you're just dialed in? Spindletap.com. All right, JB, here's one thing. We're talking about money and coaches and leaving for money and getting new contracts. The job is to be a pastor, dude. That's the job. If you want to get paid. Well, in some cases, there's good. Listen, I'm a God-fearing man. When you say this, Bible Belt people are saying, well, is that sacrilegious? No. I'll tell you what is sacrilegious, though. Entertainer, singer, pastor, reverend, whatever we're calling him. I like to call him Marv Sapp. It's Marvin Sapp, right? I like to call him Marv. When you lock the doors at your building and tell everybody passing it around, we're not leaving until we collect 40 grand. Now, if that's not God-fearing, I mean, hey, I'm sure that's what the good Lord had in mind when he was going to tell you, praise the Lord. Where are my first responders at? I need some dollars and cents here in the church. And Jimmy Swaggart's walking through. I mean, slow your roll. Okay, Marv, I understand you want money. This ain't it. Okay? Why? So somebody else can come by and you got that G5 waiting on your ass. We know that story here in Houston, but I'm going to leave that one out for now. So I'm all about a good pastor that makes us feel good. I go to church every Sunday, and you need them. They're not all the same. It's not fair to say that they're all the same because they're not. Some of them are. These mega church guys can make some coin now, but I'm sticking to I'm Marv Sapp, okay? 40 grand, lock the doors, and he ain't leaving, and you're not leaving until they get that money. Now, I'm sure the good Lord was sitting up there saying, man, I'm going to bless that church. Now, especially that pastor who's locking doors and tell them not to leave. I thought when you went to church, tithing was tithing. If you're a full, you pay tithing in your private way, 10%, 3%, 2%, or none. That's between you and the Lord. You're not there to fund Marv Sapp's plane flight. Okay. Sorry to tell you. Now, I will say this. People give the LDS, the Mormons, a hard time. I'm just going to tell you something about them. First of all, they have no debt. I'm just going to tell you about this because I'm very adept at understanding the LDS church. Do you realize the prophet of the church, the bishop that you go to, that you're the bishop, which is the equivalent of a pastor in another church? I do a lot of research on this. Do you realize the prophet of the church, he doesn't get paid a dime? Every single leadership job at that church is voluntary. So there ain't, now if they earned a ton of money in their other careers, that's one thing. It's voluntary. So regardless of what you ask, this isn't a religious thing about this. It's about everything they do. You pay your tithing. At no time have they told you to stand up, pay your tithing in church for people that have been through there. But I'm just telling you, like it or not, they don't get paid a dime. And their lives, once they retire, are Gifford Nielsen, former quarterback. He's a general authority. Former BYU quarterback, Houston Oilers broadcast player and quarterback. He's a general authority. He ain't making a dime traveling around preaching the gospel. So I digress. But I can tell you this, passing that hat and locking the doors, I'm not sure the good Lord had that one in mind, JB. I don't know how you feel about Marv Sapp, but I got news for you. And I'm sure he's a great, energetic. His shirt was sweating. People buy in and they love it. And if you can get them to give, great. I don't think that was in the spirit of giving, just a hunch. And I think that you probably need to go about it in a different way. And I love going to church and I love the effort they put in. But I got news for you. I'll take the voluntary side. Thank you very much.
Most crooked motherfucker in the world, a priest and a politician. I'll never change my mind.
Well, have they not proven that to you? Of course they have.
No matter what denomination, I don't care. Catholic.
Do we have lobbyists for pastors now or guys like, because I know some, I mean, I've got some great ones locally in town that aren't about any of them. I mean, that aren't about the money. At least that's not what they do. But so there's some good God-fearing people. I don't think this is it. And JB, I don't know. Maybe we're at the point now where some of these guys like this, Marv Sapp, are telling you to lock the doors, pass it out, and you ain't leaving.
First of all,
I get mines.
I believe it.
When you do that, are you not? I mean, you might as well just have a lobbyist and go steal from your people.
I believe that's kidnapping, Sean.
Yeah.
Legally.
And I also believe that paying your tithe and your tithes and offerings is voluntary.
I believe
at least that's the way I understand the gospel.
I grew up in the hood. I grew up in a black church. We always joke around because motherfuckers will pass the shit around 17 times in 20 minutes, and we all laugh, and it is what it is. You throw your few dollars in there. But this is ridiculous, and I'm supposed to fund this guy's fucking Lamborghini, right?
Yeah, but you can't. You ain't taking you on the plane. You ain't getting a ride on the plane.
Fuck no.
So
hey, God knows though. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, and that's why I'll leave the judgment to them. Well, not really. We're going to judge them because anytime you lock your parish or your peeps in there, your flock, you got to protect your flock, dog. I think that's what you're doing, protecting his flock.
Shame on anybody in that room that goes back to that motherfucker, though.
Would you?
No, fuck no.
Oh, well, no, but there'll be some that have the cultish attitude that think that's okay.
What I'm saying. Oh, yeah.
And they're brainwashed to the point it ain't about the gospel. It's about they're brainwashed to think that you just gave $2 you were forced to, and the good Lord's going to treat you better than the guy who didn't because he wasn't forced to or is going to give it voluntary.
Y'all want the video?
Huh?
Yeah, sure. Throw Marv up there. Let's hear about Marv. Here we go.
Let me see Marv.
Here's your tax dollars going to Marv, and you ain't allowed to leave the damn building. There'd have been a fight in that church, I think, JB, right?
Understand the cost that is involved. There's 1,000 of you. I said close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. We all gonna leave together. Y'all ain't going no place but to the restaurant. There's 1,000 of you tonight, and those that are watching, it's 1,000 that's watching online. This is a small seed. If I get 1,000 online to give this, if I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight. I'm challenging each of you all down here to give a $20 seed. I used to think $20 was a lot of money. $20, believe it or not, when my late wife, Melinda P. Sapp, was alive, was a good date. I could take her to the movies, buy a box of popcorn, get 1 soda, 2 straws. I wasn't cheap, that's swag. I was looking in her eyes, she's looking in mine. Can't do that no more. Now, everyone up here, we've all sold and seeded, but I need everyone standing up here with us, with me, to plant a seed of $100. Because again, it costs to sit up here. I got you. Let's see. So put your 20 away, preachers. That 20 wasn't for you. And this is what I need you to do. If you're giving electronically, or even if you're giving tangibly, I'm gonna have y'all come to the altar and give it, because I need to see 1,000 people moving. Bring them baskets. I want the baskets up here. I want to see the folk. Y'all start moving. Y'all can bring it right now. Come. Even if you're giving tangibly, just put your hand on take your phone and stick it on the bucket.
Okay, we gotta stop this, man. I can't do this anymore. I can't. Listen, was that a live auction where we're selling stuff for a charity event? I hear 30,000, 40,000. I get that.
Hey, there's 1,000 people in here right now. We got 1,000 people in here. Can you fuckers all drop $20 right now before you leave? You cannot leave this chat.
Yeah, we're not letting you out of this chat until you tangibly let us see it. $1,000 each. They want 20 and 100. I want $1,000 each, and we may give it to somebody else. More than likely, JB and I are going to keep it. So that's what we want. Praise the Lord. Hang on a second, because I'm sure he's up there saying, Marv, that ain't how we do this. But he also is going to use some of that for some deodorant, because that brother was pitting out now.
What about his fucking
I think he was stressing out. I got to ask for all this coin. I need some menin. Yeah, buy menin.
Rogaine.
I don't even care about his hairdo. I care about,
You don't have hair.
Yeah, I just puffing that shirt or taking 3 shirts to. I know he's into it, but maybe his nerves were a little shot because he had to lock doors and tell people, "Hey, passes." Oh, no. Well, I need to know, what are they doing with that money? It costs a lot of money to do what? I know build buildings and all that, but I do believe that's voluntary. Okay, that ain't it. So there you go. All right, JB. Let's close with this. Just your thoughts on. Well, before I do that, let me talk about my guys at Premier Gold Studios. As we obviously know that Premier Gold Studios, the impact that they're making, they're our studios sponsor and a big advertiser for us here. And they're doing unbelievable stuff. And here's why. You think about this, is tangible assets like gold and silver are huge. And they're tangible. Think about when you were an athlete or whatever you're doing in your life, the pressure that went along with being a 17-year-old taking a test, or in my career early on, the pressure where you throw it to the other team. Oh my gosh, my life's ending because I threw a pick, or man, it's the best thing in the world and you're celebrating because you threw a touchdown while somebody's hitting you in the mouth. Pressure. But what about the pressure of real life? The real life pressure of when you're done playing and you're in another career, or you've spent your career going and 30 years at one place or 2 jobs, and then all of a sudden you haven't really prepared for it, but you thought you did with 401ks and IRAs. And in Premier Gold, sitting back watching, and you've prepared for your retirement. You think, man, I prepared my IRA, my 401k, and then all of a sudden, you got a little market, boom, and then you take one shot in the mouth from one investment, and then another one, and before you know it, you say, how am I recovering from this? How in the hell am I recovering from this? And you're 70, you're 68. The job you left as an executive to retire, and boom, get in. They didn't realize this was going to go down either. And now you're not making that money and you're retired, and then you lost a bunch of it. So how do we fix it? How do we protect your wealth? How do we not only protect it, preserve it, and also get you in the best position with the right playbook financially to deal with the pressure of life, not just the pressure of throwing a pick or in your job. Now it's tougher to come back from, isn't it? When you're 30, it's easy. Hamstring you come back from. When you're 70, that hamstring may take a little longer. That's the same with your finances. So I want you to think about this, what tangible assets and gold, precious metals can do for you. Listen, I have paired with Premier Gold Co., and they've helped countless people like me and you to understand what tangible assets, what it does for your 401k, for your IRA on a rollover, what it does to make sure that it doesn't eat away at your retirement, like losing it in the stock market or investing wrong. Tangible, real assets, precious metals make a difference, and Premier Gold can provide that. And retirees that own gold and silver, expert guidance, that playbook that you need, that you can overcome it so you don't have to say, I lost everything because I did not prepare for this. The rollover process and no hidden fees. So if you're close to retirement, you're there, you want to be there. It's like timing's everything, right? In sports and in life. But how to help that and preserve it is you don't want to blow it, not have precious metals, silver and gold, and go to Premier Gold and say, I lost it all. Don't wait till it's too late. Let's get out in front of it. 949-366-8666. You got a Premier Gold team standing by with free one-on-one consultation to walk you. It's free to walk you through that 401k and IRA rollover. It is 949-566-8666. It's Premier Gold. Premier Gold. Don't let national debt or inflation or market swings give you where your stress levels are through the roof. Secure yourself. Have that peace of mind and call 949-566-8666. That's Premier Gold, and that's why I've partnered with them. And I tell all my friends, anybody that's listening, I'm telling you, even if you're not, I'm telling you, do it now. If you're 30, 50, 70, do it now. Preserve and protect your wealth and your financial life so you don't have to go back and start over. It's secure.premiergoldco.com/Sean, secure.premiergoldco.com/Sean. Again, secure.premiergoldco.com/Sean. That's Premier Gold, and they are the proud sponsor of our studios here, which we're building new ones, and is going to be awesome when we get those done. All right, JB, as we're rolling through this, Major League Baseball, I made a point of this, and I hear it all the time. You hear it in football about starting fast. And a lot of times you'll be going through it. The Astros, for instance, here started 12-24 last year. And I know it was one day yesterday, opening day, and you look around the teams, Dodgers get their victory. The Astros win theirs. Boston takes care of theirs. We can go around the league. You can find that on Google it. You don't need me to give you the X's and O's of it. I will say Framber Valdez deserves more credit because we get on the guy for going sideways when something emotional hits. But that dude's a workhorse, and over the last, 3 or 4 years, nobody's pitched more innings. He goes 7. JB, I didn't look at all the starts for pitchers in Major League Baseball. I'll bet you not 3 of them went 7 innings, and I'll bet you he's the only one that did. And I haven't even looked. 5 innings, you're a hero. 7 innings, I'm telling you what, you go 7 innings and get an 8th inning and 9th inning guy to close it out for you, even though they struggled. Abreu walked the bases loaded, and Hader had a struggle. You and I'm going to tell you why starting fast is important in accordance to that, and going 7 innings, but a fast start. 12-24, the Astros started. I'm just using them as an example. They've 7 years in a row where the ALCS, got to the ALCS division champ. They've made the playoffs. They've turned it around. They've become a big player in Major League Baseball, and they've lost guys, and they're still surviving. Well, 12-24, the role they had to go on, and then Seattle pissed down their leg, and so did the Rangers last year, which made it a little simpler. But once you start 12-24, the rest is, you almost feel like it's single elimination. Even if it's 162 games, you're trying to convince yourself it's a long-ass season. Of course, our guy Clint Hurdle will join us next week. When he was a Colorado Rockies manager, they had to go win 22 or 26 or something to get into the playoffs, and then they end up getting swept by the Red Sox in a World Series. But to do what they did, and Clint was part of that and knows, and he's built teams as well. But I always marvel when don't fast start, it doesn't matter. It's a long season. Have you ever noticed, though, that the teams that are getting their ass when you're losing, then we make, it's a long season. We don't really ever hear that when you're kicking ass. It's like, we want to keep playing. Like the Tigers when they had their 35-5 start with Sparky Anderson. Everybody now becomes they're the dog chasing the rabbit. You're the rabbit. And at the dog park, they never catch the rabbit. Okay? It's the same here. Fortunately, after a 12-24 start, because it is a long season. But why a fast start's important? Think about a slow start. 3 innings from your starter, 3 days in a row, 4 innings. And you're giving up runs, long games, a lot of pitches thrown. Then what do you got to do, JB? You got to get to the bullpen, middle relief, long relief. And then what happens? You use those guys 2 or 3 days in a row until the guy gets his next start. Because if you go an inning and a half, you ain't getting the next start till 5 days later. Whether you go 7 or 1.5 or 1 1/3. So you go an inning and a third, an inning and 2/3, you're not getting it. And then the bullpen has to take up for that. And then all of a sudden your next start's 4 innings. And then you've taxed the bullpen again. And now you're 2 months in. Now you went from 12-24, or this year, let's say you're 5-15, but you're a good team, you're just sluggish. And now you've taxed the bullpen. So the collateral damage that it starts to affect, now you're keeping Hader in for an inning and a third to close a game out, bringing him in at the end of the eighth to get one out. And then again, or your setup guy has had to pitch 3 straight days, which you don't want because you've taxed the long relief. So please don't tell me, even in a 162-game season. 2 years ago, the Astros won the division on a tiebreaker on the last day of the season. And I got news for you. So I'm using them as an example, but anybody else, when we're said there's 3 games to go and the team's up 1, had they have taken care of their business on a road trip to Oakland at night with 2,000 people in the building, which is hard to focus in one early in the season, we may not be in this season. So I'm just fascinated when, you play 160. And I do know for the most part, you're going to lose 60 and you may lose 75, those extra 15, or you may win 10 or 15 more, like the Dodgers may win 105 this year. So you're going to lose 60 most all the time. Now, is it 80 or is it 55? Those are the things you got to question. But I don't know. I keep hearing, well, it's a long season. It is. I ain't winning a championship on the first day and I ain't losing one. But I can tell you this, in the middle of June and you're 12 games out, now it's pressure. The pressure mounts, and it's not just the physical, it's the emotional and mental grind that wears you out by the time season's over. Slow starts are hard to overcome, especially when they put you 12 games behind 500, which is even more fascinating. And then you got to get help from too many people along the way. The Astros were fortunate last year, but even with all that stress they had to put on themselves, guess what happened in the playoffs, JB? Against the wild card Detroit Tigers. They come into your building and beat you 2 straight and you're done. So those things happen, man.
Yeah, Ohtani, though, that's all that matters. The Dodgers are going to win 120 games, break the record, and they're going to win a back-to-back title. So,
Dane, you really think if I said $1.15, would you take the over?
Yeah.
You want to bet $100 on it?
Yeah, we could.
All right.
They're gonna break Brett Boone's Seattle Mariners 116.
Okay, so $100 on they'll go. You took the over on $1.15. I'll take the under. And as we both mentioned, we both got Dodgers and Red Sox in the World Series. You took the Dodgers. I'm taking the Red Sox. But real quick, JB, are you in agreement? You're a football coach and still do coach. I mean, let's face facts. You're doing it every day on here and on your show. And so am I, teaching and coaching. Do you believe that I think in football, September is just as important as December? Ask the Cincinnati Bengals about that one. They could have used an extra win early, right, to get into the playoffs and then be dangerous. So I don't care. I know it's a long season, but it's only a long season if you're getting your ass kicked because you're trying to convince us all that you got a chance to make up for it. When you're winning, we don't say it's a long season. We say it's a grind. We got to stay focused, right?
Yeah.
Can't lose our edge. But I don't know, man. I don't know about you. I'm not panicked over 1 win and 1 loss, but 25 games in, 40 games in, and you're 10 games under 500, the pressure now shifts quickly to you, and you got to play catch up the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know, Sean. Like the good teams, you expect the Dodgers to win, 7 out of 10?
Yeah. Right. Normally a good team will win 6.5 out of 10.
All right. So
great team, 7 out of 10. Yeah.
So you're talking, so these other teams that we're all talking about yesterday, making the playoffs, wild cards, they're going to have to at least win 5 out of 10, right?
Right. And then you go down and then you start the gap. Now what was a long seasons. Now it's August, JB.
Yeah.
And your bullpen's exhausted because your starting pitching's giving you 4 innings. You've left runners in scoring position. Now you get on a run. Oh, we're down 10 games. Now it's 8 games. Now it's 7. But you also not only have to rely on your win streak and the pressure to play your guys every day without resting, you also got to rely on the other team's losing streak because you're not playing them 30 games in a row. And nowadays, with all the interleague play, you're no longer playing them 19 or 26 times, right, in your division. So it's just a fast start. And the only reason I say that today, I say it on purpose. Don't get caught up in 30 games. We're only 30 games in. If you're 5-25 or you're 10-15, 25 games in, while it's only 5 games, you now become the chaser, not the chasee. And that's the way it works. All right, before we close down, AI-powered funding. You heard Ray Smith, the CEO, come on yesterday and explain it great about what it's doing, the golden age in America and how they're coming together, with the silver tsunami and the way it works now and baby boomers and the money that's out there for you. Well, opportunities are everywhere, but you need capital to take advantage of them. And ai.tricera.com, they use cutting-edge AI technology, match your business with the right funding sources instantly. And whether you need 250 grand or 100 million and anywhere in between, you have the capital and the programs for businesses of all sizes. And Ray Smith, again, the CEO of Tricera, told us yesterday, and they built a Fortune 100 level credit, business credit and funding system powered by AI. So you can secure funding faster than ever before. No personal credit, no personal risk, just AI-driven funding that works, and the process is simple. The golden age in America is here. Are you ready to claim your share? Or are you going to get left behind? It's funding made simple. It's ai.tricera.com. Go there now, ai.tricera.com. Get there now, guys, because you small business owners, what an opportunity. ai.tricera.com, funding made simple, powered by AI. And I'll say this as well, the phone number, 949-919-5100, 949-919-5100. That's tricera.com as well. All right, JB, wrap it up. On your mind tonight, my man, as we go to the weekend. Any upsets on your board tonight? You've got some hellified matchups. The late game is obviously Houston taking on Purdue, a home game for Purdue. It is a home game for Purdue. They're playing in Indiana now. If Houston goes and wins a couple games and gets to the Final Four, the home game shifts to the Final Four in San Antonio for them. So, but they got to get by, and they were as good as anybody in the country on the road. Broke the Big 12 record for road wins in a row this year. They know how to go on the road. Is there anything you see that says the underdog's the favorite in your mind tonight, and why?
Michigan, Auburn, and Ole Miss, Michigan State both could be shockers. Ole Miss because of the conference they played in, the guard play, and Michigan's bigs. I think those two bigs inside, even though it's a guard-rich tournament, we know guard play wins tournaments. I think Michigan, though, is a team that can actually get to the Final Four with their two bigs, and then I think will get ousted. But I think those are the two upset alerts. I think Tennessee cover. I think Tennessee gets it done against Kentucky, even though that's a 2 and a 3. I don't know if that's really an upset or not. Purdue, like you said, it scares me that they're close in proximity, right there at home. Houston's got to get through a few. And by the way, if Houston gets through this, if they play at Tennessee, Kentucky, they're also within driving distance from where this is. So
right.
This is a
home game for all three of those teams, not Houston. There's no doubt. But their road grind has been so good. So it's at least a little where they're not going to get caught up in the fact that they're overwhelmed on the road. Real quick, last thoughts on the Mississippi-Michigan State game. Chris Beards is, listen, when it comes to just game time coach, he's as good as we got going right now. And no matter where he goes, they win. He is really good. And Tom Izzo knows this. And Tom Izzo's team's going to have to bang and get physical, but they're going to get him out and run him. And I'm going to tell you what, the Michigan State can score as well. I think this is a really good game. I think Ole Miss, they're the 6th seed. They're the highest seed left in this side of tonight's games as a 6th seed. So you got them taking care of Purdue's a 4 seed. And obviously we got the 5 seed that's Michigan. Michigan is a really damn good 5 seed. And that game against Auburn, this is to me high flashing neon sign, the number 1 seed in the tournament in Auburn. They've been so good in Bruce Pearl's team. But if you blink and treat him as a 5 seed, you will get beat in this game tonight. And I think Bruce knows that. The Kentucky-Tennessee game is going to be athletic as hell. I can't wait to see that game, the way Kentucky's taking care of their business. And here's where it starts to get interesting for Tennessee. Rick Barnes' teams, he's always got them good. The level of great has to come, and here's an opportunity to prove it. And then he's going to prove extra greatness if he plays Kelvin Sampson's Cougars next. There's going to be a lot to deal with there, and back-to-back fist fights that they're going to be in. And then obviously did I leave any? No, for me, it's the Auburn-Michigan game, danger game. I think all of them have potential. Purdue, we can't forget about Purdue. They're really good, and they play in a very tough basketball conference. But the Michigan-Auburn game's intriguing to me because while a 1 seed and Michigan being the 5 seed, I think Michigan's playing like a 1 seed right now. Good timing for Michigan and momentum. There you have it. I'm sticking. My bracket has Michigan State, Tennessee, Auburn, and Houston, and all those. It's awful chalk, but this is what I picked at the beginning of the tournament, so I'm riding with it. But I'm not getting too comfortable. That's why I'm going to have to take one of these tall boys tonight. Right there with the Delta 9 THC 20 milligrams. I know you guys want some of that, so get in touch with me. Mas Grande. But who's going to be the El Jefe tonight? Are the big dogs going to go home with the victories, and will all the higher seeds move on to the Elite 8, which will take place Saturday and Sunday of this week? JB, on the boat this week, what do we got going with the yacht this weekend, brother?
Shitty weather. I'm going to probably stay. I'll probably barbecue it up or something.
Yeah, you going to get to Dodger Stadium for any of them this weekend?
I was going to go tonight, man, but I'm going to end up watching the game sitting at home.
I hear you. The March Madness thing.
Traffic, man.
Yeah, want to watch them all at home, man. I can hear the replay and listen to the broadcast. So great stuff. Triple E, thank you, brother, for another great week. Appreciate your double duty as always.
Yes,
JB,
sir.
you are the man. And I appreciate Laura Palmisano, Craig Larson. I appreciate you guys. Share it with your friends. Let them know. We intend to make this the most, transparent as you can see and fair. Try to be fair. You don't have to agree with us. We just love you. And I don't even call them haters. We like guys and gals who disagree with us. But at least you're going to get it raw and you're going to get it true. Whether it's, we don't know if all the predictions work, but I promise you, you're going to get it straight between the eyes. But we love having you, man, and we enjoy the banter. So have a great week and be safe. Enjoy March Madness and game 2 for most, as opening day was yesterday, and we're off and running in the baseball season. Go Sox, go Astros, go Houston Cougars. I can't have them eliminated. That's my national championship team. We'll have more to discuss on Monday, 1 o'clock next week. Joining us will be Fran Fraschilla. Hopefully Kevin Harlan, working on him depending on his flight schedule, and Clint Hurdle. A lot of baseball and hoops talk as we head towards the Final Four. For JB and Triple E, I'm Sean. We'll see you guys on Monday right here on Unpaved. Thanks a lot.